All right, guys, this is going to be a sad one, I'll be honest. That's it.
He's been crying off camera.
That's it. So Daredevil Season 3 premiered a couple weeks ago, and we watched it, and we have a review up on our Patreon, patreon.com/onlystupidanswers if you want the full scoop. But we need to talk about them because we've also gotten the news. And we've talked about this, that shows like Luke Cage and Iron Fist are no more. After 2 seasons, both those shows are canceled. Super duper. And a lot of people are worried, and we've put out our theories and whatnot of what's going to what the future of these shows is looking like. And we've thanks to a handy dandy analytics company called Jump Shot, based out of
good name for an analytics company.
It's pretty cool. And they're based out of San Francisco, and since 2016 they've been in their own way, because I'm going to be transparent here, I don't know how they do this, but they
Netflix does not share its viewer information, but Jump Shot has the best of my understanding, they have their own test group, basically.
An analytics tracker of their own, and they've been doing it since 2016, so they've been able to monitor a lot of the ways these shows have evolved. And also, that sounds like the first year that these Marvel Netflix shows popped up, if I'm doing the math right, right?
Sounds about right.
This is season 2 from Daredevil. That's when they would have hopped in. Wow, these shows have been around longer than I thought. And it's only been 3 seasons of this specific one.
It feels like many more.
But that's really important. But what they have released, and also, again, this doesn't mean this is 100% true to what the viewership is. But they were able to find out that 57% of the viewership from season 2 of Daredevil, which to their knowledge has been the most popular Marvel Netflix show, is gone. They did not return for season 3, at least in the first week, which is the most important time period for a Netflix original series.
Because for Netflix shows, that first week is like opening weekend for a movie.
And then they all just kind of fade off into the background, and they do get rewatched occasionally. Somebody finally will watch Stranger Things after 2 years and oh, okay, I get it now. But for the most part, we're watching in that first week or two, and their numbers were down. And what we also found out were that for Luke Cage and Iron Fist, based on their numbers, roughly 2/3 of their audience did not return. But worth pointing out, for Daredevil, even though their viewership dropped by over half, that is still higher than the viewership of Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Still easily the best viewed show of these Marvel Netflix shows. So why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because
why? What the future is and why we think this happened. There's a lot of theories out there that people are talking about that these shows aren't being promoted the way they used to. The ads they're not being pushed the same way. We're not seeing the big news from Comic-Cons and whatnot. And also it's not being promoted the way Netflix usually promotes their shows, like they're being highlighted on the front page. Couldn't say that I saw that for Luke Cage, Iron Fist, or Daredevil. Jessica Jones maybe, but it's a little foggy in my brain since that was earlier this year. But no, they're not being promoted the same way, which that's true for me. I don't know if that's true for everyone, because everyone's Netflix pages look a little bit different. Always get ads for stand-up specials, but I'm never watching them. So what does that say?
I mean, that's why you're getting the ads for them.
But for you, do you find that to be true too?
Oh no, I think I've seen some ads
for Daredevil.
But it's interesting. I think the drop-off interests me, because I think part of it might be, there's that initial excitement in early seasons of just seeing these characters in live action, seeing this interpretation of them.
And the connectivity of it all.
And the connectivity I think is actually where the drop-off happens, because I think people finally started realizing oh, the movies aren't going to connect to these in any way. And then also, once you got Defenders, you realized that maybe you didn't want the connectivity between these. I honestly think Iron Fist sunk these shows. I think that they
and it's crazy that one show sunk 5 other ones.
And honestly, it helps you realize how right now the Marvel movies feel like they were always a sure thing, and you realize if they whiffed it hard on not even Thor but casting Thor, that might have sunk the whole operation. You know what I mean? You realize how these expanded universes are really more challenging than it seems, and I think they whiffed it hard on Iron Fist. And then Defenders actually was almost like a de facto Iron Fist season 2, so it was almost doubling down on the thing that didn't work. And I think that sunk a lot of the momentum, that sunk a lot of the interest in these shows, and I feel like that's where the interest diminished. And I think that would matter less if Disney wasn't preparing to be a direct competitor to Netflix.
True.
So I think there's less interest in Disney and Netflix to invest in these shows.
And also, when it comes to season 3 of Daredevil specifically,
Yeah.
we're not there. There was no big draw to this. It's not a first season. It's not a premiere season. So we're
They didn't have. You talked about season 2 being the best that had, or the most well received. That had Punisher, John Bernthal's Punisher.
Had that one. That's the biggest one. But also for fans, it's like you're going to get Elektra and you're going to get the Hand, regardless of what you think of them now.
But at the time,
you were, and so there was a lot of pull.
Yeah.
Season 3. While I think this is my favorite season of a Marvel Netflix show. Just for entertainment values, whatever. But like, we listen to our review for the full thoughts. There's no pull outside of me just wanting more of this story.
Yeah, because even though I would imagine the biggest one is Bullseye, and that wasn't revealed till like a week before the show came out.
Yeah, why'd they hide that?
And also, it's not really Bullseye. Like with the tease at the end, whatever. This is kind of like a proto Bullseye we get in this season. So like.
So you're wondering why they waited so long if they weren't going to even get to it until another season from now.
Yeah.
Which I guess, oops, light spoilers for that.
Yeah.
But no, like I don't know why it wasn't pushed that you were going to get a Bullseye in this season. Like that would have been a really big pull for a lot of fans. And while we all kind of knew, it was never talked about.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that they were actively advertising.
You and I who keep track of these shows.
We do this for a living.
And also me who desperately wanted Bullseye. You know what I mean? Like if you look at our scener reviews of that show, it's like, I think I asked like you 3 times, like, hey, when the hell are we going to get Bullseye on this show? You know what I mean? Turns out season 3 mostly. Yeah, but I think another question that I have is where do we go from here? And I don't know how you feel. I feel like the writing is on the wall that we shouldn't count. Like we know we're gonna get Jessica Jones season 3.
Yeah,
they're shooting it. We know they're getting Punisher season 2 because I think it's already shot.
Yeah.
After that,
that might be bye-bye. Yeah. That might be it. And which is and everybody out there has done a theory video where what could happen with these shows, or they just die. You know, who knows? You know, it's all up in the air, so we don't know. But like it does feel like the writing's on the wall, which is a bummer, but that's just is what it's going to be. And and it's interesting that a couple of these analytics companies were able to kind of track it in their own way. Regardless if that's true or not, let us know. Did you guys even watch them? When did you drop off of the Marvel Netflix like train? Because
and is there a show you prioritize over the others? You know
like because I mean Jessica Jones season 2, I felt like there should have been a bigger push behind that. Yeah. Like even Punisher last year, I understood why that one with like there were a couple like shootings, and so they kind of like tried to pull back a little bit on that one. So that makes sense. But now I feel like there should be this huge momentum behind them, and there's nothing.
Well,
so
just think about the idea of like if Marvel movies and TV played along, just think about like, hey, Daredevil season 3, Black Widow's going to show up for an episode.
For one,
for like 10 minutes. We could afford ScarJo for 10 minutes of an episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you could get Nick Fury for couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you could have gotten somebody for these shows.
You know what I mean? And I honestly, I think that they're going to, and this is a question I asked you the other day. I'm also interested in if with the show, people have been speculating where they could show back up. And I'm interested to see how the rights to these shows, how they parse out, because I think theoretically it's Marvel's producing it and Netflix is basically buying on off of them, which is what Netflix is trying to do less of. They're trying to make their own thing. But I know with something like, but I'm wondering if because if they're co-productions, if Netflix owns some of the rights of it, so that if Marvel wanted to put it to another network, they would have to pay Netflix. Because I know that's what killed my favorite Spider-Man cartoon, Spectacular Spider-Man, is Sony sold off the animation rights to Spider-Man because that was right when Marvel made the deal with Disney, so that they could keep the movie rights. And so it's like, well, maybe Spectacular Spider-Man did go to Disney XD for the episodes that had already been produced, and fans like me were hopeful that we could see more. But they explained that it's like, well, it was Sony's show, so they had all the concept art, they owned all the plots. So if we wanted to do anything from that.
So I think you kind of answered your own question.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Like it's like I think Netflix owns these specific iterations of these characters. So it's like we could probably see them again and give them 5 years and then we'll be good to go. But it's a bummer. It's a bummer because I do like what they've been doing. I like this experiment.
I mean, the fan in me, we talked about this last week, the fan in me would like to see Charlie Cox's Daredevil show up in one of these speculated Disney app shows. You know what I mean? But
so I had a theory when you were talking about that. That we've had specific references to Misty Knight and Danny Rand on Cloak and Dagger. So Maybe you'll see, and since it's an ABC,
so weird,
super weird, and like because it's a different city,
he becomes a supporting character on Cloak and Dagger. You know what?
Or Misty Knight specifically.
Yeah, that might get me to check out more Cloak and Dagger. You know what I mean?
Would be Danny Rand,
Misty mostly,
Misty,
but just to see like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's super weird. So maybe there's a way that you can see these live on in a different way because those are even though different studios are producing them, kind of. Besides ABC is the driving factor behind them.
For hire show on Hulu. Maybe, I don't know.
Lots of this because don't know. We don't have control over this. We're just speculating based on other people's speculation. So let us know your speculations in the comments down below. Well, how much should I pour out for Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Punisher, and the Defenders? Let me know. Gallons worth? You guys give me measurements and conversion rates in the comments down below. But also, what should they do?
What are they pouring out?
Huh? For the homies.
They should like and describe describe.
Yeah, describe it down below. Describe what they're seeing down below.
In the comments.
Do it like a transcribe everything that we said. We'd appreciate it. And also hit that bell notification icon for all the new videos we'll be making. But you can also get a bunch of new content over on our Patreon, which you can click right here for that. That's pretty cool. At least it'll pop up soon. Yeah. Patreon.com/OnlyStupidAnswers. We've got Super TV Showdown where we review all the superhero shows. We've got our Let's Talk Comic Show where we talk about all the newest comics of the week. We've got our live streams of all of our episodes and blah, 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 blah. And you can join our Skype Hangout group, blah, 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 blah. There's so much stuff, and you're all missing out on it.
So check it out. Go to OnlyStupidAnswers.com to keep up with all of it.
There's also a video right here. I don't know how it works. I'm trying to touch it, but I can't. It's right there. Just out of reach.